Hello, my name is Michael Kitson. I'm a member of the faculty here at the Judge Business School in the University of Cambridge, and I'm a fellow at St. Catherine's College, also in the university. My speciality is economics and international macroeconomics, and I'll be having a conversation with you on the IBS program looking at globalization, the global challenges that countries, firms, and individuals face. It's very important to consider how globalization may develop because it affects corporate performance and government policy. The particular drivers we'll be looking at are technological change and policy itself. Technological change means that borders are no longer important. Firms and businesses can compete across many different countries. Policy is also important because governments, in normal times, reduce border controls, make trade easier, but in abnormal times, that process may go into reverse. We may now be living in a period of negative globalization, where it's more difficult for businesses and individuals to compete in the global economy. There's a number of aspects of globalization we'll look at. First of all, trade in goods and services, how we're buying more goods and services from each other, how that may develop over time, what that may mean for businesses. We'll look at the globalization of money, how money flows across borders, how international capital markets have developed, and also how that can lead to crisis. We'll look at the financial crisis and the implications that has for governments and for businesses. We'll look at the globalization of production, the role of multinationals, how multinationals are growing in scope, and how multinationals are moving across borders. And we'll also look at what drives multinationals. It's not just about prices and costs, it's also about accessing the best knowledge and the best skilled labor. We'll also look at the globalization of technology, how ideas are flowing around the world and where ideas are being developed. And also we'll look at the globalization of information. We are now increasingly connected in the world in terms of the internet and social media. And that means that good news can spread quickly, but also bad news can spread very quickly as well. And that has an impact on the reputation of businesses, and that can affect their market value as well as their markets and shareholder value as well. Important aspects about globalization to think about. First of all, it can change over time, particularly as it reflects what governments do. And as I said, we're living in a difficult period. We may be living in a period of negative globalization. Secondly, although we lived in a global world, we have to think locally. Countries and places are different despite globalization. And if firms are going to compete across different borders and different boundaries, they have to understand local economies. We'll also think forward. What are the global challenges facing the world in the future, and what does that mean for countries and businesses? We'll think about the challenges facing Europe. Two main challenges. First of all, the problems of the Eurozone, a currency that doesn't seem to be working. Secondly, the problems of Brexit, Britain's decision to leave the European Union. Will the European Union unravel, and what will that mean for the world economy? Secondly, we'll look at the rise of the so-called BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Many think these four countries will drive future economic growth, and we'll think about how those four countries are going to develop in the future and the challenges they may face. By looking at these aspects of globalization, we'll have a conversation that will make us better informed about how we compete in an increasingly challenging global economy.